Hello, I'm Vitor Baptista. I'm the engineering lead for Open Knowledge International, and in this video I will show you how to automatically validate your data using Goodtables.io. Goodtables.io is a web service that allows you to continuously validate your data whenever it changes, so you know what's the state of the data, if it's valid or not, and whenever a failure happens, you will be the first to know. It can validate things like the structure of your data, if it's able to load your CSV or your Excel or your spreadsheet files, and the contents of the data, like if the column with a date is actually a date, if an email looks like an email, if the numbers are numbers, and more constraints like if a cell has a value or a number is positive or the column price is greater than the column cost. So let's take a look. The data that we are validating is on GitHub. The first thing we need to do is log in into Goodtables with your GitHub account. So you click on this button and you need to give some permissions for Goodtables so it can set up the hooks so it can validate every time a new change is made on GitHub. So just review the organizations that you are given access to Goodtables.io, and you can click on this button in the bottom. So this is the first page you see. This is our dashboard. In my case, there are a few failures already because this is not a new account, but you should not see anything here if it's a new account. So we need to go into this Manage Sources page to enable the repository we want. Here on the left side, you see the repositories that I have available on my GitHub, and on the right side, the repositories that are enabled for Goodtables to validate. If you don't see any repositories on the left side, click on this button so we can refresh the list of repositories from your GitHub account. The repository I would use as an example is a list of schools from Birmingham in the UK. So we have this CSV file here on the data folder that has the list of the schools, and it also is configured as a data package, but that's not necessary for the validation. So coming back to the Manage Sources page, we can search for this repository by writing the Birmingham schools here and enable it. After a few seconds, it should go into the right column and we can see the jobs that was created. So let's go to the jobs page and we can see the jobs that are enabled in my account. Clicking on the Birmingham schools that we just enabled, we will see that the validation is actually running. What's happening here is that Goodtables is cloning your repository and looking for any spreadsheet and any tabular data that it can find there, like CSV, Excel, or LibreOffice or anything, and validating it. While we wait, you can see on the right side that there's a list of jobs that were run for this specific repository, so you can see the history of the validations that happened. So after a few moments, if we refresh the page, we see that the validation is complete and that it found one tabular file, the CSV file, and that it is valid. Great. So in this specific case, as this repository has also a data package, it's validating that the file is valid according to the schema that's in the data package. So for things like the types of the columns, of the cells, etc. If it was just a CSV, it will still work, but the validations that it runs would be more simple for things like no duplicate rows, and that all rows have the same number of columns, etc. So let's try changing the data and see if the validation fails. So here we are back at the repository. Let's go to the CSV file and edit it. I will just add a new column to a row just to make it invalid and create a pull request. you can already see that when the pull request is created, it starts running a few checks on the changes. So this is very similar to running tests on a source code of a project. After a few moments, we should see the results from Goodtables.io. So here we can see in the commit that has a red cross, which means that it failed. And if we click on the link, we will see the failure on Goodtables itself. The good thing about Goodtables is that it not only checks for the failures, but it also shows you where the failure was, in what cell, in what row, in what column. So it's easy for you to fix it. In this case, I will not fix, I'll just reject the pull request. The last thing I suggest doing is adding a badge for the Goodtables.io to your README in the repository, so other people can know that the data is validated automatically with Goodtables. You just need to copy the markdown from this place and add that to your README file. And that's it. Now that we have Goodtables, we can be sure that whenever a problem happens with the data, it will automatically validate and it will let us know. Here I showed setting up Goodtables on GitHub, but we also support data on Amazon S3. You can learn more about it in goodtables.io, and you have the documentation to show you how to set things up. Thank you for your time. Bye bye.